Welcome to the City of Statesville's bi-monthly podcast, where we put the information you want to hear front and center.
Welcome to Front and Center, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on government operations, offering you an exclusive glimpse into the inner workings of the City of Statesville.
My name's April Nesbitt. I'm the Public Information Officer for the City of Statesville, and basically that means I handle communications and public relations for the city. I'm here with my co-host, Nikayla Griffin.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Nikayla Griffin. I am the Community Resource Coordinator for the Statesville Police Department. I do everything community resource for our citizens in the South Statesville area.
And today on the hot seat, we have City Manager Ron Smith. Welcome, Ron.
Welcome.
Thank you. I didn't know the middle seat was the hot seat.
That is the hot
hot
seat.
seat.
It is. And we're here to talk about how things run in City Hall on the second floor.
Okay.
So council is a council manager style of government, and that basically means that council establishes the laws and the policies, but you get to enforce those. So how do you navigate the wild world of city politics and keep your sanity intact? Because I used to work right next to you, and I don't know how you do it some days.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, April and I shared an office suite for, 5 years?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So we have a good relationship. She understands more than most, for sure. Well, it depends. It depends on the council, and city politics are different, especially in Statesville, I would say, because in Statesville it's a nonpartisan group, and so it's not based on parties by any means.
Right.
You can you know where people stand, but we have. For a smallish city, we have a large council. So we have 9 total. We have 8 council members and the mayor.
That's a lot of personalities.
Yeah.
It is. And if you look at our council, it's a very diverse council as well, in all ways. So there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of disparate views that we have, and you just have to got to get through that. Right. So, but I will say what I'm very proud of in Statesville is our council is very much representative of the city or the people that they serve.
Okay.
Our council looks like our city, and so I think we're very well represented in that regard. So. But navigating it, I'm very much a relationship kind of person, and I try to form some sort of personal relationship with all of the council members and the mayor. I work much more closely with the mayor, because he's the figurehead of the city, and has a lot of, goes out to all the events, is involved with a lot of things. And in our case, our mayor's been around for over 20 years now.
Yes.
So tons of knowledge goes along with that. So the relationship there is pretty easy because we're together literally every day, as you've seen.
Yes.
So, but, it's very important to understand how the other council members, kind of how they're thinking, how they come to decisions, where they stand on various issues. And that helps me to present information to them and understand, not only what their outcome or decision might be, but, how do I present something to them to make it easy for them to make a decision or in a way that they like to hear it. So,
and that's not always easy.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because again, diversity and a diverse set of opinions and the way outlook on life. Everybody is an individual.
Absolutely.
So it's tough. One thing that I've tried to do when I've been a manager in 2 places, county manager for 7 years and now 6 years in the city. Fairness in sharing information. So I try and give information. If I'm giving something to you, April, and you're a council person, I'm giving it to Nikayla, if she's a council person. So,
and we didn't always have that in the past. Before you, there were times that things were distributed that maybe didn't get around to other people, and it could cause animosity. It causes issues. I mean, and so I think it's great that you do that because, I mean, it makes it fair. It makes it
Everybody
across the
knows.
board. Everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, and it makes for better policy making because if everybody has the same information
Right.
to review, whether you review it or not,
Right.
that's on
you, yeah.
you.
Exactly.
You know, if you're prepared, or if at least I'm trying to prepare you for it, that's all I can do.
Exactly.
And then so the decisions will kind of come from there. You know, and that's kind of it. You know, you just have to, you know, you take every issue independently, and then you just kind of figure out how it factors into the global view of what you're trying to do. But both of you know, we're fighting fires and
Yes,
trying to
yeah.
think about the big picture
Absolutely.
in our spare time, unfortunately. But that's just the way it goes, and that's probably the way it goes in most municipal organizations. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So just tell me what the most interesting city project that's going on now. I'm pretty sure that our listeners want to know.
Well, I'm
The
a
secrets.
Yeah, all the secrets. You want the nitty gritty.
in my job description. There's a there's a clause that says the keeper of secrets. So
Just so you know.
yes, just so you know, I can't. There's not much that that I can share on that. But and what might be interesting to me, because I've been in government my whole career, more or
Right.
less. Even when I've been in the private sector, I worked for governments.
Right.
So, that kind of thing is what it's what I know, it's what I do, it's what I kind of live for. So what might be interesting to me may not be interesting to others. So, but I'll tell you, so in Statesville, I guess the biggest thing now that's exciting to me is, I've lived in Statesville for 13 years now. And I've lived in Iredell County since '96 or so. So I've been around a long time. Been working in Statesville more or less that whole time, in the city of. And one of the things I've always heard until recently is that nothing's going on in Statesville. We have nothing to do.
Right.
There is no growth. Why
Right.
is this not? Why? All these things, and especially on social media, which
Right.
I avoid. So, but all this negativity,
Right.
True.
it's here now.
Right.
It is.
I mean, it
We-
is
it's
happening.
Something, yeah. Great
It
things
is not
happening.
without its growing pains, but it's definitely here. We are adding. We get valuation estimates for our budget every year, and we added 600 homes.
Wow. That is
In one year.
awesome.
Yeah, one year, and that's
year.
just kind of just it getting
Right.
rolling. So, there's a lot going on from a growth perspective. We've also added industrial buildings
Yes.
and jobs. The one thing that follows, and it kind of lags behind, is retail.
Yes.
But you can see that coming. New restaurants, shops downtown. I mean, that's coming.
So are you saying there's a Target coming? I'm just kidding.
Well, listen, April, we do have a cookie spot now. I don't have to go to Charlotte
That
to
is
get
true. That is
Alibi
true.
Cookie is
Yes.
amazing. I don't have to go to Insomnia Cookie anymore. I can go right up the street.
Right.
So we're
We're
growing.
moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's
and-
happening.
I know Target is looking at Statesville. I don't know if it's coming to Statesville.
Keep looking, Target. Keep looking.
There's, it's like, one of the things that when you deal with development, when you deal with it, like we do, is, and I had to learn this, patience. So you might get a call, and in 2 or 3 years, it might actually happen.
Right, true.
So it's just,
Yeah.
there's so many moving parts that you have to kind of fill in the blanks on. So I am as
Faster
hopeful.
than others. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
it's like the fire station. It feels like it went up in no time.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it just went up. But then when we talk about retail and things like that, it's like, where is it? Where's it?
Oh,
at?
yeah.
When's it coming? So patience.
It's a
Well,
virtue.
It's hard.
there were two things that when I first came here 6 years ago to my current job, there were two things that I thought that everybody wanted. And I thought, well, we will have arrived when they happen. One is Target, and the other's Olive Garden. So
We got one.
yeah, so we're halfway there.
It's gonna happen. It is gonna happen.
But I think we need to set our sights a little higher.
Yeah. We're going to the next level now.
That's right, next level.
But so that said, so we got a lot of growth. With growth comes growing pains and the need for, services. And so it's kind of a double-edged sword. These are some things I'm excited about. You mentioned the fire station. We're rebuilding fire station number 1. It is all but finished.
Yes.
And it is going
Looks
on.
amazing.
It looks amazing. I rode through there this morning.
Yes.
It is beautiful.
Amazing. Yes.
It costs a lot of money, but that's just part of it.
Right,
and we there were some tactical decisions that ran the price up, but it's going to give us space. Adding the administrative offices, it'll give us space in the future. So
Right.
we have a new station we can probably count on for 50, 60 plus years, and that's what we need to be doing. Because the last one, I think, was built in the 50s. I want to say
That
The
sounds right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Current Fire Station 1.
Wow.
So we've got that about to happen. We're working on, and this is behind the scenes,
Okay.
but what we are now calling the Municipal Operations Center, or the MOC.
The mock.
Over time, we're replacing the warehouse facility on Winston Avenue. It's funny, between Winston Avenue and Wilson Lee, where the fire station's going, we're investing
Wow.
over $50 million
Amazing.
over time.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, as not tax-paying
Right.
projects, but it's going to be good for the neighborhoods.
It's awesome.
So we're putting in a new electric building and garage as our first phase. So that's
Yes.
another good one. The others, we're just about to start. There was some action at council last night about starting our terminal building out at the airport. A lot of people don't even know we have an airport. But
Right.
we have about 40,000 people come in and out of our airport every year, not in the traditional sense like an American Airlines or Delta or whatever, but very busy for a general aviation airport. So we're building a $12.5 million terminal building.
Wow.
Going to start in April or May. And that money is all coming from the state. So there's no money coming from the city, which is,
Even better.
yes, very much.
We've had some celebrities come to the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. We took the kids there this summer, and what is his name? He told us, he said, yeah, the baby. He's been, I was like, what? He's been to Statesville. And so it's just great to know,
Yes.
somebody that they can connect with has been somewhere and we had kids that had never been on an airplane to be able to experience
They
that.
got to walk in and
Yeah, it
sit
was
down and-
amazing. So yes.
That's great.
Great things. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. We're also about to start a police department expansion.
exciting.
That one's interesting because it's tied to another project.
Yes.
Yes.
We were approached by a developer who wanted to purchase city property to
Right.
build apartments. And so, concurrently, we were also thinking about expanding the police department. So there was a parking deck that had to be built to kind of accommodate both. So it's,
Yes.
over time, we're going to see a police expansion, a parking deck, and 126 apartments.
Yes. It's gonna be great.
Which apartments we really
Beautify that
need.
corner.
Right.
It is.
It's going to make that corner
Yeah.
really, really nice.
Yeah, I can't wait to just see the buildings.
Right. Me
Yes.
too. I'm excited.
So that's exciting. And then the final one, and I put this last. It's very exciting to me, but I look out at it every single day from my office window, and that's the Vance Hotel.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I see little bits of work happening. That's been sold. The idea is to redo it as a boutique hotel, upscale boutique hotel. And I think it'll be great for downtown.
It will
be great for the Civic Center, be great for tourism, but we got to get it done.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't have any real control over that at this
Right.
point. It's on the developer. So we're hopeful. But I've seen the renderings, seen pictures of what he wants to do. It's going to be beautiful when it actually happens.
Some great things happening.
I really want to see that work on the Vance.
Me too.
I just can't wait to see what it's going to look like. I mean, it's been here. I've lived in Statesville all my life. It's always been there. I'm glad it's going to stay, be remodeled.
Yeah.
All right, so 50 years from now, Ron, what's your wildest, most out there vision for the city of Statesville? What are you thinking here?
Oh gosh.
Like 100,000 people, Annex Troutman. Just kidding.
That'll get me in trouble with my counterpart to the south. I don't know, 50 years.
All right,
so that's
25.
what.
Let's do 25.
Let me work this out.
50.
Let me work this out.
Okay.
So
I don't want-
50 years would be 2074.
Look at you.
My 10-year-old son, he would have already figured out this. He would have already done the math on how many people we're going to have.
I'm still doing it in my head.
So, you know, I don't know what it is. I think buildings will be taller. We will have, filled in more because land is a precious commodity.
Yes.
I mean, there's only so much of it. And I actually, my youngest came to me with 4 things to help the environment.
nice.
So I won't go through all of them, but one of them was, and I'm a planner by training.
Yes.
And this is something that we learned, and that is pretty fundamental. He said, "Dad, we need to quit spreading out all these houses and eating up all the land, and we need to go taller." And I was like, "Oh, bless you, boy."
Right. That's it.
And so
Out of mouth, babes.
yeah. And so, and so I think that over time, I think we're going to see that happen. You're
Absolutely.
seeing that now
Yes.
in bigger communities, but as we grow, I think that that's going to be the case. I mean, you're going to see more density. You're going to see it fill in,
Right.
And it's going to fundamentally change. Well, it's going to fundamentally change the way Statesville looks, because as people come in, it just changes things. It changes traffic patterns. It changes development patterns. So, what it looks like, I don't know.
So you're
but
saying in 50 years we're going to have a 2-story Target?
very well maybe.
That's already in Charlotte. though.
Okay, so, 50 years,
Yeah, it could be.
All right.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so Ron, put your Superman cape on. If you could magically solve something in our city in one night, what would it be?
It'd be poverty. It would be poverty.
Right.
And so, Statesville, I tell people all the time, Statesville is a real city. And it's actually a smallish city with big city problems. So if you,
Right.
and Nikayla, you've been in it.
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
you've seen these things firsthand. We have the good, we have the bad, we have, great housing, we have poor housing, we have industry, and we've lost industry. So we have a lot of big city issues, but poverty is one that is systemic, and there's no real easy solution to that.
Right.
And we're at risk right now because of some of the housing issues that we have going on.
Yeah.
Of pushing people out that can't afford to stay here, because if you look at the city in general, I mean, housing prices have gone through the roof.
They have.
Even in areas that you would never have expected that.
Exactly.
So, and if your residents can't afford to then buy or rent those homes,
Right.
then they are forced to go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So, and it leads to so many different issues. But if I could solve one thing, that would definitely be it.
I understand. So what's the most unusual or memorable request or complaint that you've received while in your seat?
This could go on for a while.
I know, so I'm ready. I'm just like,
So I have 2, I think, that come to mind. One has come from somebody, and it's been multiples, but I'll pick the best. We do have one resident who has claimed and I don't know how we would have ever accomplished this, but claimed we put some sort of microchip inserted into that person.
oh, wow.
And we're tracking that person. And
Wow.
and this is what makes it funny to me, using that person as a Wi-Fi hotspot. so that was one. Yes.
Okay.
So
Did
that
you really do that?
not me personally.
Just making sure.
So that was the most amusing, claim that I've gotten. The other one always has stuck with me because I've been in the Vance Hotel.
Oh, goodness.
And I've worked with Nancy Davis,
Yes.
who is the historian and ghost
Right, yes.
story person, and I've always heard the tales of the two ghosts that are allegedly one in the Vance and one in our building.
Yes.
Okay.
The one that lives
front
with
and
me
center.
on-
Yeah.
And the
third
little girl
floor.
looking out the Vance Hotel
Yeah.
window.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
And so, it was probably somebody pulling my leg. But, one day I get a voicemail. It wasn't a call. And it was a guy that was here from Ohio. And he was walking on Front Street. And this has been some years ago. He was on before the fence and all the construction stuff. So he was walking on Front Street by the Vance. And he said he looked in and he saw a tall man, which is the one in our building,
Right.
and a small girl in a white dress, which is supposedly the one in the Vance,
Oh, wow.
No.
in the basement of the Vance.
No,
So
just
that's
keep
what he
on
that's what he
walking.
said, and he left, and he said that just didn't look right to me. And
Yeah,
I said, well, that doesn't sound right either.
Right.
So I called the police department just to say, go make sure there's nothing going on over there. And nobody saw a thing. And so I always wondered if that was the two ghosts, kind of meeting up and talking things over. Who knows? But
You didn't personally go over and check it out?
I did the next day.
Oh, the next day. Okay.
I did the
okay.
next day. 'Cause it-
Yes.
But there's a pool
Yes,
under
I heard
the
about the
parking
pool.
deck, and in the pool that day, and I've told you this, there was and it's only got a little bit of water from kind of leakage or
Right.
whatever. There was a heart that looked like it had been made out big. It was big, out of red wax, and in the pool bed or floor. And then a red balloon.
Yeah, just keep on
right
walking.
in the middle of it. And I was
I'm
like,
out.
oh.
No way.
So, yeah, that was
Got a lot of
the
fun things
strangest.
going on in Statesville.
Yeah, that was the strangest.
And if you didn't know, DSDC does give ghost tours for Statesville.
I've been on one.
Well, Ron, we've talked about this before. Population 10 years down the road. As much as Statesville's growing, what are you seeing? We're close to 30,000 people in Statesville now. We're moving up. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you see in 10 years?
Well, a lot of it, with all the caveats aside, economy and making sure, saying things that if they continue along, one of the numbers I've used in talking with city council is, in 10 years, probably adding another 15,000 people, which is half
Wow.
of our population.
That's crazy.
There's a lot of things that have to happen, but if you just kind of extrapolate the numbers that we're seeing, and we track every development that comes in and that looks at Statesville, so we know real time what's
Right.
happening. Just what we have in the hopper, it seems absolutely reasonable that we'll be around 45, 50,000 people in
That
10
is
years.
insane.
It is.
That is
It's
crazy.
gonna happen.
Yeah, and it could be more. Who knows?
Right.
I don't want to overstate it, but I don't want to understate it either,
Right.
because
Exactly.
on its surface, growth sounds good to most. But if you watch our council meetings, it's not easy to approve a lot of these
Yeah.
developments.
True.
You have a lot of pushback from the folks in those areas, but it's a natural progression.
It is.
And you've heard me say this too. For a city to be healthy, you have to have some growth because, in the 6 years I've been here, the budgets have gotten incrementally easier, never super easy.
Never.
But they've gotten incrementally easier because we've seen some growth. If you don't have a way to absorb the natural increases in commodities or in services or whatever that is, or just CPI in general, you have to go up on tax rates
Yes.
and fees and things like that. But if you have growth, you can diversify a little bit more, and you
Right.
can spread that out some. So you need some growth.
Yes.
So this is, to me, this is a good thing. You have to be careful on what it looks like, how it takes place. But in general, but that's what I'm thinking. We've got plenty of sewer capacity, water. We're in good shape.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a
is.
target number.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we are going to make it happen. I'm excited.
But the thing about Target, they probably know those numbers better than I do.
They probably do. They're watching as well.
They do.
have these people.
Yes, they have people for that. Like
They
you
have
said.
people for that. That's right.
And that retail we have found is that they keep up with that,
Yes.
and they know their markets.
Well, that's awesome. So, listen, I've been here all my life. And, this place has been so amazing to me, but what's going on at Signal Hill Mall? I'm just going to get to it.
It's the burning question.
We used to have fun there. That used to be our field trip spot in the summer.
Parents drop you out and leave you for
my
2 or
aunt
3
used to-
hours,
she was
4
like,
or 5
we're going
hours.
to Signal Hill Mall, and you were a superstar when you got to eat at Chick-fil-A on the
Absolutely.
top part. So yeah, I just want those memories to come back, hopefully.
There was a top part.
Yeah, so okay. So it was like we called it the stage, but it was in the middle of the mall. Like you
Oh,
could
yes.
go up those little steps.
What about that? Those memories, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, we had the little arcade. You couldn't tell us anything.
Well, and the city has so much control over the mall.
Yeah.
Of course, right?
That's what they say.
Well, that's one of the
everybody
burning
thinks.
questions from Facebook when we asked
Yeah.
is, what's going on with the mall? Because, the city should have control over that.
Didn't I say I avoided social media?
Well, we're gonna keep you up on it. We're always
We're
on
going to
there.
keep you up to date on it.
To be totally honest with you, I don't know. The one thing I can.
We thought you had the secrets, the scoop.
That's one of the secrets. If I did know, I probably couldn't say. In general, what I do know is that, and this is Ron Smith's opinion, that's probably the best commercial piece of property in Statesville.
Absolutely.
Or that, partnered with the old JRs. It just so happens that it's got large buildings sitting on it, and there's a lot of work that has to go into preparing a site,
Right.
just to get it, ready to redevelop. It's gonna happen. I mean, at some point, it's got to happen. With all of the growth that we're seeing, I know there are conversations because I do get asked questions
Right.
from people who are very much in the loop on that.
Okay.
So I know, and some of the plans that I've heard about would be great and would be exciting for Statesville, but it's kind of like what I said earlier about, getting from A to Z. There's a lot of letters between those two,
believe it.
and you got to really piece together something. One deal I heard about had a requirement to it that I think was impossible, and so sometimes you it sounds great, but you can't make it happen.
Right.
So,
Right.
So that's kind of that's what I know. But eventually, I think everybody will be happy with what comes, because I think it probably is a large mixed use kind of retail, restaurants, housing, some sort of development like that.
Michaela, we need to work on our restaurant list that we want to see.
Right. We can make some things happen in Statesville.
I would suspect that's where they'd be. I mean,
Right.
that's
Be the
again.
perfect side of town.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
it's the perfect
Yeah.
area.
Yeah,
The
right.
roadway, I mean, now with Broad Street getting
Oh, yes.
improved, and with the interstate all kind of taken care of now, I mean, it to me it seems to be set,
Yes. Yeah.
for success. But again, we don't control it. I know that the owners want to see something happen.
Oh, that's great to know.
But you can't just wave.
A lot of
them
moving
on.
parts.
Yes, very much.
Well, Ron, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate it very much. Our first episode of the Front and Center podcast. If anyone has questions or comments of things they want to hear about, we can bring Mr. Smith back. We'll have other folks with us in the future. One event we want to tell everyone about is our Touch a Truck on April 20th. That's going to be at the soccer complex from 10 to 2. This is it's actually called our Arbor Day celebration featuring Touch a Truck, and we invite everyone to come out, bring your kids. You can find all the information on our website at statesvillenc.net.
Tune in to the next episode as we share our dedication to transparency, public service, and governance, shining a spotlight on our commitment to keeping you well informed about all things City of Statesville.